The History and Meaning of Asak, with myself, Tathaloka Terry, on the Vesak full moon, Vaishaka Buddha Purnima, 2565 of the Buddhist era, on the United Nations International Day of Vesak, May 26th, 2021 of the Common Era, with the Hawaii Association of International Buddhists. So, metta greetings. Aloha. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Ratanataya. Blessings of the Triple Gem. I'm happy to be with you. I think about Hawaii as my childhood paradise. I lived there on the island of Oahu at Laia Point from age 3, 4, 5 with my mom and little sister. Kid up a tree, that's me, around age 4 or 5. Oh, I haven't been back since then. So Vesak season greetings from our Dhammadharini Bhikkhuni Sangha at Dhammadharini Sonoma Mountain Bhikkhuni Monastery and Aranyabodhi Forest Hermitage in Northern California, where I am now. I'd like to acknowledge that this land for a very long time was the traditional territory of the Kashaya people, Native Americans, also known as Mahatheri, by themselves, their village here in this area, or villages. So for nearly 10 years, friends have been suggesting that we consider having a branch of our Bhikkhuni Sangha in Hawaii, which is kind of close to my heart and one reason for accepting this invitation. But I haven't had a chance to return yet to Hawaii since age 5. So I'm glad to connect now with you virtually, together with friends here in California and friends in Thailand and around the world. Meeting at the Crossroads. So in the Mahaparinibbana Sutta, the discourse on the Buddha's great final Nibbana, he recommends that memorials to him should be placed at great crossroads. The Hawaii Association of International Buddhist Celebration of the United Nations International Day of Vesak, together via Zoom, seems most suitable, as Zoom is the great crossroads of our times. So, from the Buddha, the Mahaparinibbana Sutta, the discourse of the Buddha's final passing, the long discourses, Digha Nikaya 16, section 26, and even Ananda, and as is done for a universal monarch, so should it be done with the body of a Tathagata. And at a crossroads also a stupa should be raised for the Tathagata, and whoever shall bring to that place garlands or incense or other modes of honor, reverence, and veneration, and at that place their mind becomes serene. This will be for their well-being and happiness for a long time. Amhakang Tigaratang Hitaya Sukaya. So these images are of the stupas, pagodas or chaityas that have been raised at 3 main important places in the life of the Buddha that are remembered on the Vesak full moon. The Lumbini Maya Devi temple, the birthplace of the Bodhisattva, the Buddha to be. Bodh Gaya Mahabodhi temple, the place of the Buddha's great awakening, Abhisambodhi, and Kushinagar, the Parinibbana stupa, commemorating the Buddha's final passing. Now I'd like to offer these traditional short words of honor, reverence, and veneration in memory of the excellent qualities of the Buddha. You're welcome to join me. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang dhammang sanghang namasami. So thanks to Porani Sponsel of the Hawaii International Association of Buddhists and Shakyadita International President Emeritus, Venerable Karma Lakshe Somo, for the invitation to speak on this Vesak full moon night on the history and meaning of Vesak. History of Vesak. Names. Vesak is the name of this month on the Indian lunar calendar. The lunar month is from the day after the new moon to the next new moon, often in May, sometimes in April or June for Vesak, matching up with the Western calendar. With reference to India and Nepal, the Buddha's birthplace, the Vaishaka Masang, means the month of Vesak, or Vesaka Masang in Pali. The Vaishaka Purnima, or Vesak full moon, is also called the Buddha Purnima in India, and Buddha Jayanti in honor and celebration of the Buddha. The words Vesak, Vesak, Vesaka, Vaishaka, and Visaka are all variations of the same. For the Thai, Visaka Puja, Puja means to honor and to reverence. So the full moon day in the month of May as the day for honoring the Buddha with the three great meanings in his life: his birth, complete awakening, and final nirvana, or parinibbana in Pali. What about the dates? Why are the dates different in different Buddhist traditions, people ask. And this year, it's very rare this year, the South and Southeast Asian Vesak, the East Asian Buddhist birthday, and the Tibetan Sakadawa month are all coinciding, or nearly so. Often the Tibetan calendar Sakadawa is about 1 month different than the South and Southeast Asian lunar calendars. All three great events in the Buddha's life are celebrated for the whole month, and on the full moon Sakadawa Duchen. It's very nice that this year they coincide with Vesak, the month of Vesak, and that we can celebrate together. A devout Buddhist friend of Indian heritage who's living in India and training as a Buddhist teacher asked me this question: why these differences? She said it's confusing. Who should we follow in the revival of Buddhism in its home country, our home country? And those newly coming to Buddhism may also ask, who should we follow in international Buddhist traditions abroad, meaning outside of India or an Asian Buddhist country? Let's approach the first question. Why these differences in dates? First answer, perhaps, because of different regions, slightly different lunar calendars. The Chinese lunar calendar and the lunar calendars of South and Southeast Asia are not exactly the same as to which is their first or second or third or fourth month. And also the regions that Buddhist texts and oral traditions pass through as Buddhism spread far and wide. We can see with some texts how they originated in one part of India and then spread to another part of India and then to the far northwest, Kandara regions, and then spread across China to Korea, and this is the spread far, far and wide, and now these traditions around the world. A second answer: there's not only the difference between different regions' lunar calendars, but also the difference between lunar calendars and astro-solar calendars, and now the difference with Western calendars as well. So the difference between lunar and astro-solar calendars. This picture is just an example. Some scholars say that at the time of the Buddha's birth, the astro-solar calendar and the lunar calendar coincided such that the full moon, that's the lunar calendar, and the asterism Songkranti, in Thai Songkran, for the astro-solar new year, on the astro-solar calendar, that they were aligned at that time the Buddha was born. While over the millennia, they have diverged. So that's why we have Songkran and the Buddha's birthday apart now. Thus, we have the Southeast Asian people's traditions, parades with Buddha images, bathing Buddha images, and bringing sand to temples and making sand stupas at the time of the astro-solar new year for Thai Songkran, while East Asian Buddhists are bathing the baby Buddha following their lunar calendar. Thus, for South and Southeast Asian Buddhism, the astro-solar new year is one holiday, while Vesak on the Buddhist monastic lunar calendar is another holiday. People don't mind so much because people love more holidays. Also, early Buddhist values are supportive. Even more importantly, they're the strong early Buddhist core values of inclusivity and honoring diversity. Unity and diversity, harmony and sustainability as core values. We have all experienced both the benefits of having one common shared worldwide calendar now, somewhat divorced from the cycles of the sun, moon, and stars, as well as the detriment in terms of our human loss of such intimate life connection with nature, the earth, sun, moon, and stars, and the natural cycles of all of life and our own lives. Living in the forest with traditional Buddhist monastic discipline of the Vinaya. Living in the forest with the traditional daily, weekly, and monthly solar and lunar observances of the Theravada Buddhist forest traditions, I see and feel this conflict often. In example, where the moon dates don't well coincide with weekly schedules on the Western calendar, and where the call and needs of the forest, living in the forest hermitage, don't easily coincide with plans made long in advance on the Western calendar. Or where solar noon, when we have to stop eating, differs day by day compared to when noon is on our contemporary clock. So often the needs of the forest and of the earth have been made the sacrifice, made to conform. I feel the loss and the detriment of this, and our need for our healthy existence and survival of humans as terrestrial beings, our fellow terrestrial beings, and our whole biosphere. Let me now turn to the meaning of Asak. The Buddha is said to have been born under a sal or ashoka tree in the Lumbini Grove. It's in contemporary Nepal, we think, perhaps. than to have experienced full and complete self-awakening, Anuttara Samma Sambodhi, beneath a peepal tree at Gaya in India, the tree now named Bodhi tree, and Ficus religiosa because of this. And to have passed into final nirvana, parinibbana, also outdoors, beneath twin sal trees in Kushinagar, India. In the South and Southeast Asian Buddhist traditions, all three of these great events, the Buddha's birth, awakening, and final Nibbana, are said to have occurred on the Vaishaka Purnima, the Vesak full moon. Now, returning to our core values of harmony and sustainability. Not only did the Buddha's mother, Mahamaya, set forth from home and give birth in a grove on the full moon, the Buddha also set forth from home life as a bodhisattva and experienced his great awakening on the full moon while living outdoors, immersed in nature. Also, when he took a break from the Sangha for one vasa, one rainy season retreat, the Buddha's choice of abiding was in the Parilaya forest, living in harmony with the forest creatures. How many of us have experienced that? That is, when frustrated with humans, turning to nature and to kindness, compassion, and understanding of animals for solace. Also, at the end of his life, the Buddha chose to wander still barefoot on the earth, far and wide, until he could wander no more. Then, laying down between two trees, he passed into final Nibbana. What a contrast between such an outdoors final nirvana and that so often experienced today, closed up indoors. Returning to our core values in the Dhamma. Of course, the Buddha had the Dhamma he had realized to turn to and abide in, abiding with the Dhamma as the most excellent refuge. After his complete awakening, he's said to have looked back at the Bodhi tree, whose roots had supported him in the work so hard to do, whose leaves and branches had sheltered him, before he turned his gaze away to a humanity so much in need, to speak the Dhamma to those with little dust in their eyes, and walking with alms bowl for alms to allow the people to have and develop that connection with the embodiment of awakening, the embodiment of the Dhamma, through his own body and the body of the Sangha. What values can we glean from the Buddha's story? What meaning do we glean? How does it inspire us to live wisely? I feel our world needs not only the beauty of the Buddhist arts and cultures of kindness, generosity, and presence, but this lived embodiment of wisdom, which we can give birth to, nurture, progressively awaken and realize, and set free in ourselves, in each one of us. Amongst all crafts and trades, we need the craft of such wisdom, the craft of the heart. How does this inspire us to live wisely? As Buddhists, as international, intentional communities of support, we support ourselves and one another to do so. Properly, this means fully moralizing and enabling monastics of all genders, both bhikkhus and bhikkhunis, as well as fully dedicated, experienced, and enabled laypersons, upasakas and upasikas, who have drawn near and are intimate with the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, all those who are Visita, Visarata, is wise, experienced, and confident in the Buddhist teaching, able to dispel false views and untrue, unbeneficial ideologies. Final words on the meaning of Vesak. Offer the Buddha's final words to us. Vaya Dhamma Sankara Apamadena Sampadeta Ti. Conditioned things are of the nature to pass. Free from heedlessness, apply yourselves with complete dedication. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Anumodami. So, wishing you a happy Vesak Buddha Purnima full moon. May the most excellent blessings of the Dhamma and of the path be with you always.